Welcome to College of Health. Thanks for being here today. This is an Akashic weather report starting back on June 28th through today, which is July 8th, 2025. So about little over the last week. Very hesitant today to put a video out. Needed a lot of self-encouragement to go ahead and do this. I'm going to throw some names out there of names that came through. I have no idea if these names are accurate. The first name that came through, not today, but previously in reference to Hurricane Helene, was a man named David Brunner. And I went down a rabbit hole to try to figure out who the David Brunner is that could have been aligned with maybe some nefarious happenings with Hurricane Helene. And first of all, if your name is David Brunner, I apologize. This is a pretty common name. So there's a lot of David Brunners out there, and it's probably not you. Hopefully it's not you. But I do think that potentially there is a David Brunner out there. I was able to kind of go down this rabbit hole of figuring out alignment with Cabal based on type of work he did and type of venture that he got into with a said bank, and guesstimate that this is probably the individual. What's really kind of curious about it is David Brunner's name came up in the past. I don't know how many months ago it came up, but in kind of regurgitating past information, I went down a rabbit hole with his name days before the Texas flooding occurred. So I don't think that that's by accident. I think it was in my periphery. You're going to kind of hear that in the first day that I was starting to pull through some information around the Texas situation, I think. And a couple other names came up, so stay tuned. Here goes. On June 28th, I was told discipline and fortitude will be necessary. Also, a jumping into what's next. All good things will eventually come full circle. And then I walked through darkness. I felt like there were evil figures there, dead bodies. I went to the end of the scene. I parachuted down. There was nothingness and emptiness remaining after this dead bodies scene. I thought this scene was in relationship to some other book that I had been reading before I went into the Akash, and they said, keep going into the Akash. I felt like I needed to get out of this barren scene. I took a hot air balloon out of the scene. I saw the Holy Family, the council. I was given a cross or sword by a friend of mine. I was told it was a talisman. And this wise witch came through and said I would be given instructions and I would to take them in and they should become a part of me. I was given like this transmission, and then I heard a bird outside my door after that happened. So a lot of personal stuff in the readings in the last week. So I'm going to just jump around. I tried to highlight things before I went in today to make it a little bit more seamless. Start to find the truth. It rests inside of you. And then on July 2nd, a couple of days before the Texas situation, I think of the man, David Brunner, and my solar plexus gets very tight. I feel like he wanted to buy up land in Asheville. I asked, is he evil? I was told yes. I said, God, what do you want me to know? Make peace with yourself and find peace, inner peace with all things that are happening. I saw this tall tree growing up to the sky. And then I was told the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You will get there, be patient with all things will come full circle. I saw these minions, they seemed happy, but they didn't seem altogether good. I was told no, they weren't. Was I getting accurate information today about David Brunner, who I went down the rabbit hole and I was told, yes, you're getting accurate information. And then Jesus came through and said, be patient, sister, all things will come full circle. And the way I interpreted that was everything is going to come out at the end of the day. Like nothing will be secretive at the end of the day. So don't worry about maybe even putting a video out because everything will be released eventually. I asked God, what do you want me to see? And I see a garden, garden of heaven, garden of love, talismans of new beginnings. Then the 3rd of July, a day before the floods happened in Texas, I saw David Brunner pointing a gun at the bank. I said, question mark, angry, something besides, he was angry about something, and he was angry with the bank. And something about rebuilding Asheville, I said, is that why he's angry? Question mark. I was told yes. Also Florida. And they said, proceed with care, proceed with care. So maybe I was just making things up in my mind about this gentleman, David Brunner. I don't know. Again, if you're David Brunner, it's probably not you. So don't worry about it. And please take this for what it's worth. This is going into a meditative state and pulling through names that come through randomly. I saw myself picking up diamonds. What do you want me to know, God? I saw Boulder, Colorado, question mark, question mark. I saw light. It was blinding sunlight. The more the blinding the sunlight is, the more the shadow that's cast, something like that, was told to me. And I saw Jesus with a flower. Then this is the same day. I think this is, yeah, July 3rd. Move forward with courage and fortitude. And I saw the Star of David on my forehead, and I felt like I was, if you date me way, 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 way back to the lineage of David. And then this is the 5th of July. So this is one day after hearing about the floods. I was curious about them. And let me tell you what I got around it. You are a disciple of God. You're a truth holder, keeper. I think I skipped too far ahead. Let's see here. Sorry. So this is the 5th of July. Sorry. Keeper of truth. And then that was the end of it, I guess. And then, okay, got it. So this is the 6th of July. This is when the Texas situation, I started to try to disseminate it. I feel like the Texas camp situation was nefarious deeds gone wrong. I hear you are correct. So what came through intuitively when I was in the Akash was nobody meant for anyone to die. That whatever manipulation of weather that could have occurred wasn't meant to kill people, and that caused possibly some grief with the players. And in sitting with it, I just felt, just a tremendous sense of grief and heartache of all the people who lost loved ones and anyone who was around that situation. Then I saw Elon Musk. He was counting his money. I asked if he had sold out, question mark. Pretty much I was told Trump was getting older, beaten down. He was holding a staff, not much more time. It will take a village to come back. I said, do you mean the United States? And he said, yes. And then I saw a wall of fire. Then yesterday, I saw a man with a shotgun. I said, is this in reference to the Texas situation? They said yes. He had a cowboy hat on. He was peeing on the ground, marking his territory. It was purposeful. Most definitely Azure came up, Azure. Gold came up, precious metals, greedy, meeting, 3 people, Beckenbach, question mark, Beckenridge, possibly Beckenridge, Texas, and a company there, not sure. If you live in Beckenridge, Texas, I apologize, I'm not really sure. Beckenbach, Beckenridge. The name Lynch came up, Gorski, the name Gorski came up. And then today the name Roy came up. And I think that is, oh no, we got more. Piercing precision necessary to follow the next steps. Give me one clue, I said. And they said a gold coin. Outside, gold rush. I saw like fishing for salmon. And then the event with Texas, thinking city slickers. George Schulman, gold. See them signing something. You can't find your way from here. You need to go forward into the unknown, the abyss. And then Palo Altos. And that was it. So lots of clues. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll be able to decipher them. The names that I got, I was able to tickle out who I thought they were. Again, if your name is Gorski, Lynch, Roy, if you live in Breckenridge, your name is Breckenridge, Breckenbach, or David Brunner, it's probably not you, but if it is, shame on you. There you go, Akashic weather information for the last week or so. Have a good day.